the experience of playing the eventual national champion, leading by 5 with less than 3 minutes to go, that has to resonate in terms of how close we are. We're knocking on the door, and eventually we're going to get in. And so, but those experiences, when we were 17 down, I thought from that period on in that game, from 17 down to the end of that game, I thought that was the Razorback team that I envisioned having at Arkansas. And so this year, we want to start with that mindset and to have the experience that I thought was big for our basketball
Mike, Daryl said he thinks him and Jalen are going to be one of the better guard duos in the country. What do you think?
They feel good about themselves. I think they're very confident in what they do. That remains to be seen. On paper, it all looks good, sounds good, but it's like anything else. It's their opinion at this point in time, but you got to go out and prove it. Now, if you ask me, are they better than they were last year? Absolutely. I think they're light years ahead of where they were last year at this particular time. I think they're a lot more comfortable in what we're doing, understanding what it takes to be a tremendous player at this level. And they've done it. They put the time in the offseason, too.
Yeah, Daryl said he's gained about 10 pounds because the feedback he got from the NBA was get stronger. And Jalen said he's really working on his jump shot because he shot about, 28% or something. He's working on lessening his turnovers. How do you think those guys are going to be improved this year and in those areas?
Well, I think with them putting their names in and getting the feedback and just being transparent through the whole process with them, from a coaching standpoint, I think it's going to bode well for them and our team. I think individually, obviously, I think they're going to be much better. I think they're going to be much better teammates. I think Barford is a guy, obviously, we've seen that he's capable of scoring. He led the junior college in scoring, and we saw him in cases last year where he just took over a game. And now he's got to be a guy also now he got to be able to distribute, with the teams that we have, with the players that we have on this basketball team. So each guy, I think, has stepped up their game. But not only them, I think guys like Dustin Thomas, Trey Thompson, Anton Beard has lost 15 to 20 pounds. He's the quickest I've ever seen him. So when you start adding up the players that you have that have really developed and come on, now we just got to put it as a team. And I think this team will be reckoned with when it's all said and done. I think people right now are kind of sleeping on them. And they'll tell you that, too. They think they're sleeping on them. But they slept on us last year, so that's okay.
How big a jump has Adrio made just playing in the SEC, being a freshman? But we saw, I know you saw something many moons ago, but how is he a year later?
Oh, he's unbelievable. I think that game and last year didn't play much early on, but we're going down the stretch in the North Carolina game. I think he played half the game, and he was really effective. I mean, he had his imprint on that game. He started at LSU, so I think that's going to give us another athletic forward out there on the floor that, to me, who embraces what I'm about. That is toughness, and that's what he brings to the table: a level of toughness along with some athletic ability. I think this team will be an athletic team. I think the recruiting class that we brought in, there's some long, athletic guys who I think will embody what we're all about in terms of deflection, rebound the basketball, making athletic plays.
What Jalen and Daryl both said, the first thing fans will notice about Gafford is what he does on the boards. I'm putting a lot on a true freshman, but he says the fans will notice how he is on the boards right away.
He got a chance. I referenced to when Bobby came in. He's a freshman that potentially has some ability, but I want him to go at his own pace. And of course, some guys' pace is a lot faster than mine's anyway. But the beauty of it is that we got some senior guys, we got some veteran guys who've been through the wars that I think can help him along the process. But you can't teach 6'11", and you can't teach the athletic ability that he brings to the table. And he's got a motor he runs like a guard out there on the floor. He's relentless on the boards and got a good pair of hands. If you get a big guy with a good pair of hands, can rebound, he can play a lot in anybody's system.
Is there any update on Khalil and Orlando?
There's no update at this point in time.
Mike, having been in Missouri, what have you made of their turnaround, looking from the outside in?
Well, I think Konzo has done a good job of really assembling some tremendous talent, and of course with the guys they had returning, I think they're poised to have one of those breakout years. You got one of the best players in the country, and the funny story about Michael Porter is that when I was at Missouri, obviously he was a young kid at that point in time, and he was homeschooled, and he'd come up to the gym. He and his his brothers and sisters in practice, working out all day. I used to run him out of the gym sometimes, but got a chance to know him and his family, and just to see him. I mean, he was probably a little shorter than I am, and now all of a sudden this guy's almost 6'10" and one of the best players in the country. It's startling. Even his other brother. I mean, but I think they're going to be pretty good.
Mike, you mentioned that you thought maybe some people were sleeping on you. So with that in mind, does it make you kind of scratch your head when you see a team like A&M that didn't play in the postseason and you beat, I think, twice, see them picked as high as third?
Well, you know what? I don't put a whole lot into the rankings anyway. That's somebody else's opinion. I know you guys get tired of hearing me say it. That's somebody's opinion. It's like everybody else got a behind. Everybody got an opinion. So, but the key is when it's all said and done. I think that's the key, and I think that's why when you ask the question about where did your team come from? Well, we're a team that's we're going to start out at one point, but as the season goes on, because we play a lot of guys, the guys get familiar with what we're doing. We progress and play some of our better basketball. I think I've been in this league. This is my 7th year, and it seems like every year they picked us at a certain spot. Well, we don't listen to that.
Did the success that the SEC had in March last year with you and then 3 other teams that were in, I guess, the Elite Eight, did that put to rest the whole question about the caliber of the basketball conference this season?
Well, I think it don't question. I think it just shows you that how good our league is. I think our league was so much better, and a lot of it has to go with the non-conference schedule that we played, and teams won games. And so going into conference play, now you got some stronger teams, and so if you lose to a team X, it don't hurt you as much as it used to. And so now we're able to get teams in the tournament, and those teams in the tournament, they won. I mean, that's the best resume there. You win. And so now, coming back in this year, you got a lot of teams now that will be ranked in the top 25 or return a lot of players, or in Missouri's case, had a tremendous recruiting class. So I think we'll get more teams in the tournament.
Mike, with those 7 guys coming in last year, defensively, I know you wanted more out of them last year. With the offseason, the trip to Spain, are they getting it now? I know you want to see it during a game, but I know it's a hard defense to learn.
Well, I think they're getting better. I think you got more guys now to fit what we're doing. With the defense, when you're playing pressure defense, all it takes is one little weak link out there. You got one guy that cannot fix or get to places, then it puts pressure on the other guys. And so that's why you even saw our team. We extended at times, and we didn't look very good, so we brought it back. So I learned a lot about myself as a coach and even as that particular team. And so I'm not just married to any system. We don't have to press. We can play. Our defense the best is when it's in the half court. And we play a lot of matchup. We play multiple defenses, and we'll do the same this year.
Like, first of all, have you all Arkansas been contacted at all as it relates to the FBI
Have not.
investigation?
Have
And
not.
what was your reaction to all of that?
We're just kind of stunned, like everybody else. When we found out, just like you guys found out, and just kind of taken aback that when you talk about the FBI, and they actually have footage and things of that nature, and it's very unfortunate because this is a game that we're the guardians of. When you talk about the coaches, and for something like that to come down the pike, man, it just it hits at the core. But at the same time, obviously it's something that has been exposed, and maybe a lot of good will come out of it. But I don't think it should cast a blanket or a cover over the whole realm of college basketball. You got some great coaches, great universities. You got some great programs that are doing the right things, and so hopefully a lot of good comes out of it.
Mike, the news broke last night about Bobby Portis getting in a fight with one of his Bulls teammates. I guess they had to go to the hospital. What have you heard about that? Have you talked to Bobby at all?
Hadn't heard anything about it. I just texted him to see if he was okay, and he texted me back like it was good. But evidently, something had to provoke him. I don't know. I don't know. I can't comment because I don't know I know Bobby the person. Bobby's just not. I don't think his makeup is up there.
Doesn't seem like him at all.
No, it don't seem like him. So it's something. I guess you have to. We eventually get the true story.
I've had people ask me, was Bobby a hothead? And I said, well, we never saw practice, but he didn't seem. I mean, you obviously.
No, Bobby was not. No, Bobby was not. He was one of those guys. As a matter of fact, Bobby was one of those guys that try to calm things down. As a matter of fact, he may get hit. He and Moses used to go at it quite a bit, but it never got to the point where anything was with punches or
So
anything like
you're
that.
pretty
So
surprised.
I'm very surprised.